Hey everyone! Today in Mr. Rowan's art studio is Sketchbook Club, and we are going to be starting our own sketchbooks together. I know some of you, especially those of you who have done my sketchbook program at Southwood and Jack Jewett, might already have a sketchbook that looks something like this. You do not have to start a brand new sketchbook. You are welcome to use the sketchbook that you already have. Now, if you don't have a sketchbook, I'll bet there are things you can find around your house to make a sketchbook for yourself. Some people use notebooks or composition books, like the ones you might use for school. Some people might draw in old books, and some people even make their own sketchbooks by stapling pages together, or tying pages together using string and a hole puncher. I've even seen some of you guys at the club make your own sketchbooks this way. Any of those things will work for Sketchbook Club. So I just got a brand new copy of this poetry book, so I'm going to be turning the old copy into a brand new sketchbook. So I am reusing old books. If you do this, please, please, please ask your parents before drawing in any books you might find in your house. So now let's talk about how to start your new sketchbook off right. The first page of a sketchbook is usually very intimidating. I know lots of artists who skip that page because they're afraid that if they mess up on their first page, then the entire sketchbook is ruined. I know I used to feel the same way, so I used to always skip the first page. But today, we're not going to let this first page scare us. So let's get to drawing. I have here some cool pens that I'm going to use, but you guys can use whatever you want. You can use pencil, you can use markers, crayons, pens, anything you want is fine. So I like to start my sketchbook with my signature, because I know I'm always telling you guys to sign your artwork. All artwork should have your signature on it, and your sketchbook is a great place to practice your signature. So I'm going to start in this corner down here. I am going to sign my name. Let's see, what else can we do on this front page? Let's do "This book belongs to." I feel like that's a good thing. That way, if you ever lose your sketchbook, your friends will know who to return it to. So let's pick out this nice blue color. And if you don't like any of these ideas, that's fine. You can do whatever you want on your first page. These are just some cool ideas if you're feeling stuck. I am using this opportunity to practice some of my bubble letters, because I'm not as good at bubble letters, or really these are more block letters, but I'm not as good at block letters as I would like to be. So I'm taking this moment to practice. Looks like I'm kind of running out of space in this corner here, but that's okay. I'm just going to go over onto the next page because it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm just going to go right over onto the next page as if I meant to do that. No one has to know that it's a mistake, except you guys, so don't tell anyone. Now, I think I'm just gonna decorate these letters, just kind of whatever I want to do. I think I'm gonna give them a little shadow. That'll be fun. So as you guys can see, when I add shadows to block letters, I usually pick one side of the letter to add the shadows to. So for example, for this T, I'm going to add a shadow on the right and lower side of each line. So I'm going to add a shadow there, 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 and there. And for the O, I'm going to go on this corner and this corner right there. You see? See how that kind of looks like a shadow? Now our first page is still looking a little empty, so let's add some decorations to this page. And these decorations can be whatever you want them to be. There are no rules for your sketchbook. There are certain things you can do that might help you practice better or develop certain skills, but ultimately this book is for you. It's not for me, it's not for your teachers or your parents. It's a place for you to express yourself and be creative. And I know it's really easy to judge your own artwork and say mean things to yourself about how you don't like your artwork, but I always tell you guys that you gotta say nice things about your artwork, because if you don't say nice things about your artwork, how can you expect anyone else to? You have to love your artwork, even if it doesn't turn out the way you planned it to or the way you want it to. It can still be beautiful and fun. Alright, so now I've got a little bit of a drawing on my first page. I've got "This Book Belongs To," I've got my signature, and I've got a drawing that I feel like represents me. But what if you don't want to do that on your front page? Or what if you also want to fill this page up? So let's try some different ideas. Sometimes I like to have a little doodle that either says, like, you know, "This book is private, keep out," or that welcomes people to my sketchbook. So I think for me, I am going to do a drawing that welcomes people to my sketchbook, because I want people to be able to look at this. But for you guys, you can either do that or do something that says, "Keep out, this is my sketchbook." The most important thing is you should draw things in your sketchbook that make you feel happy. Again, they don't have to be good, they don't have to be what I tell you to draw or what your teachers tell you to draw. They should be things that make you happy, because if you draw things that make you happy, you'll draw all the time. And when you draw all the time, you'll get better at drawing, because the best way to get better is to practice. Here we go. Now I've got a little doodle of a little critter welcoming you to my sketchbook. So another fun thing to do on the first page of your sketchbook is to write nice things to yourself, or things you want to remember when you're working in your sketchbook. So one thing that I like to do is start with the sentence, "This sketchbook is." Now once you've got that, you can fill in beneath with doodles about how your sketchbook is a safe place to try new things, or a place for getting better, or even just a place for fun. So my last idea for what to do on your first page of your sketchbook is to give yourself a list of reminders of things you can do to help increase your drawing skills and to become a better artist. So my first rule about my sketchbook is I want to make art every day. And I know some of you have asked me, "Mr. Rowan, how did you become a good artist?" And I tell you, I draw every single day, because that's the only way you ever get better at anything, is you have to practice. You have to practice all the time, every day. So one of the ways that I remember to make art every day is that I carry my sketchbook with me everywhere I go. I know some of you guys have seen me walking around with my little blue sketchbook that I bring with me to programs and draw in. I know that some of you even bring your sketchbooks with you to school and work on them there, and all of that is a great thing to do. I am so proud of you guys, because you are already doing exactly what you need to do in order to get better at drawing, which is have your sketchbook and draw in it all the time. My third little rule for myself is to always challenge myself. Draw things that are hard. Draw things that you don't know if you'll do a good job at them, but draw them anyway. It's okay. Like I said before, your sketchbook is a safe place for you to mess up and even make bad art. And along those lines, my fourth rule is make lots of bad art. Because like I said, no one has to see your sketchbook but you, so this is a safe place for your bad art. And if you want to make lots of good art one day, you're gonna have to make a lot of art that you don't necessarily like. And that's okay. It's okay to not like every piece of artwork you do. But also keep in mind that even though you don't like your artwork, the person right next to you might think that your artwork is amazing. So always remember, we always tend to think that our own artwork is bad or the worst or not as good as our friends' artwork, but your friends probably feel the same way about their artwork and think that your artwork is way better than theirs. So even if your artwork's not perfect, keep going. Don't be afraid to make bad art. And my last rule for myself in my sketchbooks is to keep my art. I know it can be tempting to just tear a page out of your sketchbook and throw away drawings that you don't like, especially if you feel like you've messed up. And it's okay to have those feelings, but keep your artwork. Don't tear pages out of your sketchbook, because even your bad art, someone might think that it's amazing. And also, if you don't keep any of your old art, you will never know how much you've grown or how much better you've gotten. Because we all tend to think that our art is the worst and we're not getting any better at it. But sometimes the only time we realize that we've gotten better is to look back at some of our old artwork and say, hey, I've gotten so much better since then. Recently, I found some of my old sketchbooks from when I was y'all's age, and I was able to look through them and say, wow, I really have gotten better. I really am a better artist now than I was. And even though at the time I thought those drawings were so bad, seeing them now is really nice because I remember some of those things I drew, and remembering that makes me happy, and also seeing how much better I've gotten makes me happy. So keep your old artwork. Even if you hate it, you can draw over it, or you can just save it for later, so maybe one day it'll make you happy too. Alright, so those are my top challenges for you guys for how to use the first page of your sketchbook. Bye! See you next time.